Hey guys, and welcome to the 9th C++ for Beginners video. I thought today we'd go over vectors, which is basically another type of container for holding elements, but it's a really nice one because it does some really cool stuff. So I'm just going to start a program here. Alright. CPP. Alright. So we're just going to include the Yahoo stream, and we need another library called vector. And then just the rest. Alright. So to create a vector, it's a little bit different than an array. So if we have an array of integers, it's int array, and followed by the square brackets, the amount that we want, and that's it. For a vector, you have to call a vector, spell it properly, then use the angled brackets, the chevrons, to basically say what type of vector it's going to be. So we want int. Then we give it the name that we want it, so we're going to call it int vector, and you don't set a size for it. Now the reason you don't set a size for it is basically an array, we say we want 20 blocks for integers. A vector starts off at, I believe, 2, but a vector you can add on to. So a vector can grow to be as big as you basically want it or need it to be. There's some limits, but that's for you to figure out, or maybe I'll talk about that later. So to add something to a vector, what you have to do is a vector has a method called push, or pushback. Basically what this does is just adds a new integer to the end of your list of integers. So we could say, I want to add the number 1 to it. So now our vector now has the number 1 in it. And I can do this a whole bunch of times. We're just going to throw in a quick for loop to show this. Terrible typing now. We're going to go to 50. We'll just erase it and do it again for practice. So int vector pushback I. So this is going to show. This is going to add 0 to 49 in a vector. And as you can see, the only time that we have to say how much we want is here. But obviously, there's different ways to say how much you want to add to a vector. So this thing can grow as much as you want. Now, what I didn't get to show you last time, I'm just gonna throw in another loop here for the array we have there. I don't feel like covered it very well. So I'm just gonna populate this array. Okay, so that gives all the values to it. Should copy it. I'm just gonna do a little header here, kind of thing. Say enter. Going kind of fast here, but again, you guys can always stop the video. So we're gonna just output each value. And then we're just gonna do 2 end lines just to give some space, because we're going to output the vector as well. So the number of ints we have is 20, so we know we can only go 20 far. Now, in the video I did yesterday, or the last video, I actually went past that. That's kind of a scary thing, because that touches memory that's not ours. And even if it is ours, it's messing with other variables, and that's just not a good thing. So typically when we have a program, we kind of have, we have like an integer called array size or something, and we set it to 20, and then everywhere that uses the 20, we just say array size. Except for some this constant keyword, I want to explain that later, so just throw that in for now. Whenever you're doing stuff with arrays, for now anyways. So this is basically just saying, okay, we're not going to mess it up anywhere. Now, what would be nice is if you could go int array dot size or something, but you can't do that. So you have to always use this array size. So you always have to know what's going on for your sizes of your arrays. Well, that's the cool thing about vectors, is that you can get, I'm going to show you. I can go int vector dot size I can see out int vector. Now you can do the same thing with this, with the square brackets. That will go to the size of our vector. The vector knows how big it is. So we're just going to save and run this. Reformatted my computer so it's yelling. Alright, so it goes 0 to 50. Looks pretty good. 0 to 19, and everything looks nice and fine. So it's kind of nice that vectors can do that. Now there's another way you can go through a vector, because if I had, say, I can change the size here and just say 2. And save on that. Looks fine. Now I'm just gonna do an endl here because that looks kind of messy. Now I'm gonna do it twice again. Alright, so it looks better. So that's vectors. You can add stuff to them, you can take stuff off them as well. So say we had an array of 20, and then, for whatever reason later in the code, we decide, you know what, I don't want the last number to show, the last few to show up. So we can go int I is equal to 0. Not capital I. We're going to take the last 5 off the array. Oops. So we can go int vector dot hop back. Now this just takes the last one off the list. It can be handy if you're doing some sort of stack. You wouldn't use this, but the option's there. It's always nice to have options. So we're just gonna see what's in the vector after we do that. So you can see our int array has 20. This is our vector. Has 20 again, and then we took off 5, and now there's 15. So the nice thing about vectors, again, I'll keep saying this, is that you don't have to set how big it is. So if you have a program where it's just reading data or just collecting something, you don't have to worry about how big the array is going to be, because you can just keep adding to it. The other nice thing is as well is if for whatever reason you're reading data into the vector and then you read into the vector and then you check, hey, was that an okay value to put in here? And it wasn't, you can do the pop back and get rid of it. So just before we go, I'm just going to throw in some comments here. Now, something you should know about vectors as well. It's like I said, a vector starts off at about 2. You add a new value to it. It says, okay, I've got one value. I can hold 2, but I've got 1. And the second you put a second one in there, it's gonna know, okay, I'm full, and he's gonna add, or they're gonna add some more values to me. So he'll double his size. It'd be 4. You add the third and the fourth, and then he doubles again, so it's 8. So you've always kind of got to know, okay, how much memory. If you're really worried about memory, a vector can kind of get big if you're not using it in the right way. We're gonna talk about in the next video another way of going. Maybe not the next video. A little bit later, we're gonna talk about how another way you can go through a vector and kind of gather everything you need. So that's the end of this video. But I want you guys to start thinking of a small project that we can do. I'd like to make another little series of videos of a project that we all work together on. Or I guess I work through and kind of we go through it together. Just to see how we can kind of put all this stuff together. So leave me some comments, some ideas, what you guys would like to see that would help you out. If you have something in your head that you go, you know what, if you could do this, maybe I can see how this all works together well, then we'll do that. But yeah, so that's the end of this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.